Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield.
All right, let's go, Springfield. Time to 10X, time to level up. Hey, you are listening to the Elevate Springfield podcast, coming to you from the Big Dog Construction Studio in beautiful downtown Springfield. Robert Ferriell here, certified 10X coach, speaker, and mentor, here to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together we're going to elevate Springfield. Well, hey, you are listening to the Wellness Upgrade on Elevate Springfield, where we're going to bring you specific strategies to help elevate your health and wellness. Hey, if you're not elevating your health and wellness, you're not going to be able to elevate in all other areas. This is the baseline. You know I'm passionate about it, and you know that's why I brought this segment to Elevate Springfield. We're going to get right to our guest after the break.
Looking for personalized insurance with hometown care? David Hilst, American Family Insurance Agent, is here to help you protect what matters most: your family, your home, and your dreams. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, David and his team are proud to serve the Springfield community with trusted advice and reliable coverage. Local service, real relationships, peace of mind. Call today or stop by their office. They can build your dream protection plan together. Call 217-726-6343. And we are back. Familiar face joining us today on the Wellness Upgrade. Dr. Kelly Neumann is back.
Thank
How we doing?
you for having me. Good.
It's absolutely gorgeous out there.
Oh my gosh, I love it. The whole weather, like everything, it's coming, the sun's up a little bit earlier and stays out a little bit later. And I'm like, oh, this is just where I want to be. It's
right.
We're in the sun. I actually went under into a little shady area and I was not having it.
Right.
I was not having it. I was like,
give me that sunshine. Let's go.
Absolutely.
So today we've kind of teased it a little bit before, touched on it a little bit, not fully, right? That was when we were talking about mental health and some different things. But you have your book here.
I do.
Right?
I do. I am ready. Today is a very special day.
So tell us about the book first.
There was a time in my life that I needed more guidance. I didn't understand exactly what path God wanted me to take with everything that I had been through and everything I had kind of researched independently. And, it just was at a point that I needed to step back. And when I did, it gave me the opportunity to go through my sister's words of, basically 10 years ago today, my sister passed away. And it was one of those circumstances that I was right by her side the whole time, and remembering that in itself is powerful, just because I think we've talked about, we get so caught up in life, and for me, it's always been about being a purposeful life has always driven by our engine, that internal fire, really trying to make that burn. And my sister's story is the start of my own personal fire in my career. And it's kind of led me to the clinician I am, but there was a missing piece. There was a part that it just didn't seem right. So I had this whim that last year in February, I started having this intention to mentally heal. I'm going to heal in 2025.
Right, sure.
But It started with writing, and it allowed me to unpack my sister's words of pain and anger. And I knew they were all going to be there, of course. Like, of course, I always knew that. But it was now at a time where I looked at them, and because I didn't know what I was going to find on this flash drive. Like, she gave it to me before she passed and said, when you're ready, look at it. I was able to rekindle and feel like that sisterly soul again,
Sure.
but to get there, I had to go through a battlefield. It was hard. Because there was some things that I had always been okay with everything that happened because of the fact that there's things we can't control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's things that we just have to, the only thing we can do is just be there. In my circumstance as a clinician, as a sister, it all came down to this one thing, which was just connection, reconnecting, connecting, finding that and understanding that those people make a network that's provided for you. And when we truly harness in on that surrounding framework that we're supposed to build on, it's unimaginable. Just because it's not built by us as humans,
Right.
So
How long were you your sister's physical therapist?
and this is kind of what started my trend of injury prevention and sports performance is there's certain muscles that have to fire as a child develops to pull on growth plates to make the bones normal out and just get as stable as we can. With her, she had not done that. It was just physiology. It was miserable malalignment syndrome is what they refer to it as, which is just saying your forces are just distributed differently throughout your joints, and there's
Okay.
going to have you're just more predisposed to certain things. So if we can fix it, we fix it. But hers was she was an athlete and a basketball player ride or die basketballer, baller, two ball hand, like she could zip a pass, like she could see that pocket, that just when no one else could. And it was truly a gift. But she did tear her ACL when she was a junior, which isn't like a bad, it happens all the time, right? But it was her, she always put so much into her sport. There was a lot of sports psych with my sister's case, and that was interesting to me. So, that's when I started researching is just ways that we can help longevity of an athlete. Like by the time she was a freshman in college, she had already started having hip problems, and then this hip and then that hip. And then it turned into this ongoing, like then there was this, and then it started getting very complex. And there were parts that even I myself were like, wait, what?
Mhm.
What? How is this happening? And
Mhm.
how is this happening to us right now? And she was a marathon runner, and I think that's the one thing I've always kind of helped do that. But then she decided, she didn't really care about the running and all of that activity. She just wanted to help people. She wanted to be a doctor, and that was her mission from then on out. And she was very hard headed. It goes into a very complex case, but it all starts with two sisters, and I think we all can relate to that relationship. That's so powerful. That's can change your life. And that's what I wanted to bring, just
Yeah.
a reminder that life is short. I think we're reminded of that probably more than we want to these days and age, and just to remember what matters. even when it doesn't seem like there's an explanation. And I don't have an answer for a lot of different things, but what her writings did and what I researched, because after I knew that I was going to have to use science of the mind to break into this bottle, involves suicide, athlete, you're talking multiple like disciplines of pathology, and it all happened in my family.
Yeah.
And it went unspoken for years because it involved suicide. That was just the end of it. That wasn't the whole story. That wasn't her. She was the most resilient person. Like, I'm nothing, like ironclad faith. And I learned that from her and my family and my roots and my legacy, that Los legacy. And when I was rerouting and remembering, then that's when a point turned that I started looking back on all the things that we had gotten through as a family. And I just was like, yeah.
Right. What was on the flash drive that she gave you? Her writings on there. Well, I mean, what was in there?
So to sum it up, I would say she had so much pain and she had so much anger, and she just wanted, but she had so much faith, and she dove so deep into scripture. I mean, to the point where it made me curious, honestly. After reading, I will always say that 9 years later, my sister hit me and said, "It's time now, get up." It's time.
Right.
And I don't think I would have ever been ready, but there was a point as a clinician it was between when I was in an outpatient rehab and then trying to transition into more of the wellness component. And I was like, I don't know where God's taken me, but I know I have made it this far and I know what I've gone through, and I have to have faith in that. And I went to some of my best coaches. So after talking with them, I talked with one of his classes, and I was talking about that purposeful driven life and how you can actually tap into your soul. And it was so powerful that it made me come to tears. And that was the first time I cried in 9 years. And from that point, I was like, holy crap, that's not okay. Like, how did I go 9 years, without, and it was the power of God. It was the power of the purpose. It's always been keep what's around me. My husband's always said that you just got to keep what matters close around you.
Yeah.
And her intention was to show people that they don't have to be silenced and they can be heard. And even if it's not what anyone else wants to hear, you can still say it. And that in itself is okay. And I think she wanted to, in the end, because when she took her life, that was the time that had for a year and a half was just saying, it's between you and God. This is what you guys are. This always. It was out of hands of healing. It was out of a medical. It would have taken a miracle, and I'm not healthcare or answers for this or suicide, but I know what it feels like to be with someone who is so hurting, so much pain, mind, body, but his soul is so tapped in that she is putting her words on paper for someone else after her. It was almost like her memoir to just stay strong. And it actually helped me write her book.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did that help put together this book, I would imagine.
I started making my Facebook appearance with my friends and just to tell them, like, this is something I'm going through. I don't really know what it is, but this is how I'm kind of processing it. I started talking, and it was actually easier to talk about how it affected me. And it affected my choices and this and that, and how it was always beneficial. There was a light. There was always light from it. And but then when I started digging deep into what she really wanted me to hear, not only for someone else, but just in case her younger sister needed to hear those words, you know? And that's when it hit me that there are forces around us we cannot explain. And I will be the first one to tell you about them.
Right.
And I'm so grateful and blessed to have so many people around me and to be able to dive into this and know that no matter what comes out of it, they're still going to be right there, you know? And that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hope that it is the message that she would want people to hear. It is kind of a combination of a doctor of physical therapy and a doctor of osteopathic medicine. There's research of mental health, and May 20th that's it. There's something that is always on those days. You don't know if you're going to be good, if you're going to be bad. I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
But, with May being mental health and 20 is just that's that angel number, right? Like that's my husband's number. And there's, on this 10-year, like I wanted to make it like a celebration. I wanted to be like, yes, guys, this happened. It was awful. But look at what came from turning pain, whether it was hers, mine, anyone, to purpose. And it's possible. I truly believe it's a calling from God to wake up myself, wake up my mind to what he wants me to see. And it was hard.
Oh, I bet. Well, let's talk a little bit about the structure of the book. You've got the experience with your sister, you've got her writings, you've got your expertise. Talk to us a little bit about what's in the book in terms of you pick it up, start reading it. Does it tell the story of your sister? How does it go through?
It does. My sister was so funny, so sarcastic, so witty.
Yeah.
Like so witty. So the opening line was, I never paid attention to how I would die. And everyone hears that. They're like, wow. What they don't know. Are you ready for this? That's a Twilight. The Twilight
Oh, is it
books.
really?
Are you kidding me?
I did not know.
Yes.
Okay.
I never paid. That's when Bella or goes from being a vampire or going from a human to a vampire.
Wow.
So I know that. So this is a funny part. So here I am. I have this flash drive. I put it in. My best friend miraculously just comes over. No, I wasn't planning on coming over. Just comes over.
Right.
I am curled over my desk, and just she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I just read it. Right. And right there, it said Kate, and it was a document. And she had composed all of her journal entries, all of her writing. She was a big writer, loved writing, and composed it all in a document for me. And basically, and at the very end, it says, "Sister, make sure this is seen. I am done."
Wow.
It took me about 4 months just to be able to get through her writings.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
You know, and still be able to function. I was lucky. It was a time that I was doing a lot of research, so that was kind of keeping my mind off of it. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, you know?
Yep.
So
Let's roll.
it was hard. But once I started understanding the power of scripture, and not only of her pulling me back to the word of the Lord, but also to this cosmic awakening. Would it have happened before? I don't know. But there was so much that happened from the time that I opened that and I made a decision. And I said, I want to take that. And I don't know what's going to come out of this, but I'm going to do it. And a year later, I have written a book. I have put together a research, like an actual like wellness awareness and a mission that's led in that unity of bringing clinicians and communities together and that whole what it's meant to be in the first place, you know, and then to utilize movement as medicine, but also know that just right down the street, another one has just as much knowledge of something else that is as important, if not more. Like, and be okay with that. And my sister was so funny. And at the very end, when she told me, make sure this is seen, I was like, are you kidding me? Because she was like my older sister.
Right.
So I'm like, you're still telling me what to do.
Sure.
Are you kidding me? And at that point, it was after the 4 months of the battle, the searching, the referencing. I finished it and was like, okay, huh.
Yeah.
And Easter this year was really powerful for me. In so many ways. Good Friday was around like my birthday, and we had just had my family's Huntington's disease walk, and I was there, and you could feel, I went to her grave, and I feel like that presence that I had almost not searching for, but almost longing for, that I had remembered when she first passed. And I believe that was a blessing in itself, that I didn't have to battle with knowing I had to tell the why. There was enough compassion in the world to know that enough just losing your sister in itself is a lot.
Yeah.
And then when she said, because I know she battled the suicide component for a year and a half, like those thoughts, and I wrote about that. Me knowing that those thoughts are coming, and how, as a clinician, what do you do when you have your whole career has been on data, has been on fixing orthopedic conditions, and your sister, the one that's supposed to live with you the rest of your life, is suddenly dwindling down step by step. And it was this intricate web that spiraled and did this labyrinth like that. She ended up having to battle so much surgeries and pain. The medicine she was put on did a lot to her GI. She had to get her colon removed. All of this battling. She's going through DO school, like freaking warrior.
Right.
And here we are just over the phone, like just doing whatever we can. And my words and the idea that you can calm the mind through words. That's where it started. I've always been my sister's physical therapist, whether I knew what I was doing or not. When she tore her ACL and I saw her go through that, I always had this calling to be a PT, but then all of a sudden it was more of that guide, and I saw everything, and then went through PT school and had my clipboard, right? And this is what protocol. But there's another side. And 10 years later, and I've been in therapist since 2012, end of 11, I graduated. And here I am telling people, I don't care how healthy you get your body. If your mind is not there, if your soul is not intact, it's not going to be as efficient. And can get to be a sudden decline. I have seen it in the clinic. I have seen it in my sister. I've seen it hit people in ways, especially from a physical therapy perspective, day in, day out. Well, what's your pain level? It's someone is always giving you a number because that's your job to fix their pain, and of course it gets complex. That's why we're clinicians. Oh, it gets fantastic. The body is phenomenal. And these hard cases, it makes cases like my sister's the one we learn from, the one we research. So we understand how to keep it from happening, to how to truly bridge the gap. And for years, I've done this research and teaching, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's definitely where I believe the next steps in my career are. The one thing that I think tying it all together is the point of community and how much integration and how much power and just that integration of a model is so powerful and pure. And if it can a little bit, if one person, how many more can blossom? And I wanted to take something that is awful, that is probably, we've talked about, that's close to like a heart attack, and I wanted to take it and I wanted to show people that either have lost, pain, no pain, because everyone can relate to a time that they've had an obstacle where they didn't fit in, where they didn't feel like they are heard. It's geared to know that you are uniquely you for that reason, and to continue driving, even if it's not for what everyone else sees. There's that purpose.
Said it a little bit just now, but what's a main takeaway that you would like people to get from reading this book?
I want people to utilize their own experience and tell me what you get from it. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell people what they should get from it, because I want to know how, and that's what is really cool. So I made at the very end, there's a reflection and there's a mantra, a movement mantra, and a science fact that keeps you rooted, it keeps you grounded. It also goes with the app that I built. That's released today.
Hey,
day
there
one.
You go.
Day one. But it, I think keeping that just in mind, to be rooted, to be yourself, to be uniquely you, even when we don't understand, we're not supposed to.
Right.
And my best friend asked me the same thing. She's like, what did you want people, what's their takeaway? And I was like, what is your takeaway?
Different for everybody.
And she, because I'm interested. I know my takeaway. I wrote it.
Right.
She was like, to let the silence be heard. And I was like,
there you go.
Perfect.
Well, show everybody, hold the book up for the camera, show them that, and then tell them where they can get that book.
If you would like the paper copy, then it is on my website. Everything's on my website, which can be found on any of the pages at Kinematics with Kelly.
There you go. The app and everything you can get from your website. Can you go do all that and the whole thing through there?
App. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
Okay. So this is what I built. So the app is actually integrated within my page.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And integrated in my own personal app so I can talk to my people or whatever. But
I was playing around on it a little bit.
yeah,
It was good. It was good. I like it. Yeah. Yeah.
But your daily wellness cups, you know how we talk about the daily wellness cups? Okay, so on every day for 365 days, starting today, there is a movement mantra. There's your scripture grounding. There's your fuel, like a fuel fact, cellular health, and a movement mantra.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the mission page, and my idea was to help funding for non-for-profit and for churches. Like they could just put it with their QR code, have a parish do it, do it. Because in the mission page is actually like it's what I would get. Like, I call it the prep for preseason. So it's a workout that I just kind of integrated into a whole year. It's something that I wanted to heal with everyone else as they open up a big part of my life with them. So,
Absolutely. Well, Springfield, get that book. Check out the website.
Yes, please.
Name of the book one more time.
Killing Kate, The Other Side of the Clipboard. It is available on audio by yours truly as well
There you
on the website. So feel free to check it out.
We're going to do a follow-up on this. We're going to talk more about the app and more about Mission to Move and the whole thing, right? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Well, in the meantime, we're going to let Dr. Kelly Neumann get back to elevating Springfield. But for the rest of y'all, we'll be right back.
Hey, Springfield, when it comes to reliable, high-quality roofing, you don't want to leave things to chance. That's why you should reach out to Acosta Angeli Roofing, your local roofing experts serving Springfield and surrounding communities. From quick, dependable repairs to full replacement, from residential to commercial, they are your trusted pros. Call them today at 217-993-2748 or visit their website to book your free quote and inspection. Don't wait. A little leak now could lead to major damage later. Trust the local experts, protect your home, and get peace of mind with Acosta Angeli Roofing. Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Hope you're enjoying these quick hits of actionable strategies here on the Wellness Upgrade on Elevate Springfield. Thank you again to Shudokan Karate Club. Hey, take what you learned today. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. Be great. Looking for expert tree care with hometown integrity? Look no further than Sangamon Tree Service. They're your trusted local pros, delivering quality workmanship, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing every time. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, their team brings professionalism and care to every job, big or small. Call the name your neighbors trust, Sangamon Tree Service, or visit them today at SangamonTreeService.com. Sangamon Tree Service, rooted in quality, built on trust.